Maybe you can relate. Even though it was 8 years ago, I can still remember the heavy feeling in the pit of my stomach when all my worst fears would come and chat with me in the middle of the night. What if our guests didn't enjoy themselves? What if our 50-50 introverted versus extroverted family and friends meant that while half of them would have a blast, the other half would feel uncomfortable and just be watching the clock until they could leave? Because not everyone loves cutting shapes on a packed dance floor. But since then, I've discovered if you're able to entice your guests to interact in some kind of activity together, that you can create a magic atmosphere and a wedding that no one forgets, no matter what size budget you're working with. Sandra Sen and her team from Hashtag Insta Prints are party starters and take an active role to deliver inclusive and open photo booth services to weddings and other events all over South Australia. In this interview, Sandra explains how their service of printed photos and real-time Instagram uploads, participation from guests who are not even on site, and taking the right photo means that no guest feels left out. And while hiring Hashtag Insta Prints is one way to encourage your guests to all get involved, be sure to listen to the end of this episode for my list of 17 fun ideas guaranteed to mix it up and leave even your most shy family and friends wanting more. Let's get into it. Unbridely is a community of pro-wedding vendors who believe in freedom and integrity in weddings, giving you options, solutions, tips and tricks to create the experience and memories that you and your fiancé really want and deserve. Because we believe that weddings are a team sport. With how-tos, stories and interviews with recently married couples, we find out what went right and what they'd change if they could go back and do it all over again. I'm Camille and welcome to the Unbridely podcast. Hi Sandra, and thank you so much for joining me.
My pleasure.
So ma'am, I need you to tell the good listener out there who you are and what you do.
My name is Sandra and I am the very proud owner of Hashtag Insta Prints. So we are a new take on the photo booth. We take pictures throughout your event and we upload them to Instagram using your hashtag and we instantly print them and they are gorgeous.
But Hashtag Insta Prints is a little bit different from a traditional photo booth. You're an open photo booth.
The most open. I've climbed a tree before.
Awesome. There's two different photo booths, aren't there? There's an open photo booth and a closed photo booth. And I think when a lot of couples go, okay, photo booth for wedding, they imagine a closed cubicle kind of thing. Can you explain what it is that you guys do?
So everything that we do is done on our mobile phones. So we use the latest in technology Samsung mobiles because Samsung's better than iPhone. We all know it. We do have a stationary sort of photo booth setup and what that really is just gorgeous like ring lights. So we use professional lighting and we take photos sort of in front of a backdrop. We can do that sort of stuff. But what makes it so special is we can really be anywhere. So when you're doing the first dance, technically you're in a photo booth because we can be there taking the photos and printing them out. I've said before, I've literally climbed a tree to get 70 people into a photo. So there's really sort of no limit to where we can go and get the photos. But it means that we also get to capture those really special candid moments.
Absolutely. In the same breath, though, you're not really a replacement for a professional wedding photographer, are you, Sandra?
No, won't show before. And we've had some people try to use us as that before. And I'll be like, nah, it still has its limitations. You come out with a beautiful photo at the end of it, but it's still not a photo that you can blow up. It's not edited. It will never replace your photographer, and your photographer is probably one of the most important people on the day of your wedding.
Yes. And also, do you know what? I was thinking about this. One of my couples, a couple of weekends ago, had Evan Bailey on photos, right? Dead set legend, just won South Australia's best, I think, voted, by people through the advertiser. They got a few sneak peeks straight after. But then, of course, a professional photographer has to go and do all the editing. And, they've got different timelines for that. But it's not unusual to be waiting a couple of months. Yeah, so they just kind of went, Did anyone take any photos? Can anyone please send them through?
All of our couples go home with a box of all the photos that was taken from their days. It's a beautiful bespoke box that matches the template. Remember the one you and I did together with Lauren? And I was showing you the box and I look at the gorgeous boxes.
Yes.
They match it so perfectly and you get to open it and go through all the photos and see all the beautiful moments. Or even if you don't have time to do that, because everything's on Instagram, you actually have access online anywhere in the world to your own digital copy of all the photos instantly. So yes, it definitely helps an impatient person, which is definitely me. I'm all about the instant access to everything.
I can't think of anyone who doesn't want to see, pictures of their wedding day the next day.
Yeah.
It's like,
absolutely.
Okay, so that was one of the best days of our lives. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
I need to see stuff.
I need to see it because you're still elated. You're still on that gorgeous honeymoon high.
Yes. But also, and I bet this came into play over COVID, especially, Sandra, access anywhere in the world, those people who couldn't get across, for example, here to Australia for a wedding, they can see stuff straight away.
Yeah, everything's in real time. We're uploading straight away. And it also as well lets them be part of your wedding, even if they're nowhere near you, because they can upload photos to Instagram and we'll print off their photos as well. They don't even have to be at the wedding to be part of the event.
The whole difference with what you guys do comes down to the people who are taking the photos, doesn't it? I mean, you've got these great Samsung phones, sure, but I remember you telling me exactly what the purpose of Hashtag Insta Prints was.
There will never be a bad photo because there's nothing more disappointing. And especially as someone, and it's not unique to me as someone who's plus size, there's nothing worse than going out and you're feeling like an absolute queen. You've done your hair, your makeup, you're on top of the world. And then you get this photo that does not represent how you feel and it will wreck your night. And it can be something as simple as the wrong lighting.
I believe, and I know you do too, Sandra, that it's not just about taking photos, having memories, taking the right photo even, having those memories, having them instantaneously. You're also a form of entertainment.
You get the best out of people when they're relaxed and they're having fun. And that's when we get the best photos out of them. So we make it really fun for our couples. We have a laugh with them. There's nothing worse when you feel really awkward in front of a camera. So we'll give people pointers on where to stand and what to do. And you know them quite well by the end of the process. And so we do personalized props for all of our events so that they're a bit more of a laugh and people just know that it's not that really generic sort of service they're getting.
Like the almonds who got married.
The almonds. Yes. Do you know what the funniest thing was about that? So I did a wedding afterwards with one of the bridesmaids and then I done up another prop that says we're still nuts. And it absolutely made her day. Like she couldn't get over that I had still not just remembered, obviously I remember her. We don't forget any of our couples, but that I had remembered sort of what their theme, what their wedding was about. And that's just really what it is. Once you get to know your people, your service levels kind of just go through the roof because you're dealing with people as opposed to customers and clients.
Absolutely. You still haven't written your vows yet, have you? Let me help. In around 20 minutes or so, you can easily write personalised wedding vows unlike anything you've heard before, that will make your fiancé feel like the most loved, understood and appreciated person on the planet. The How to Write Wedding Vows That Don't Suck. Instant download 17-page PDF ebook walks you through a step-by-step format for your vows, how to find the right words and phrases to describe your feelings and your fiancé, how to write that crucial first draft and create your final wedding vows masterpiece. So if you don't know how or even where to start, if you've been Googling your little heart out, or if you've been calling them wedding vows, AEIOU, this ebook is for you. Included in there are also some bonus secrets for getting the most out of your wedding ceremony. So make sure you download your copy right now and get Write Your Wedding Vows crossed off your to-do list today. The link is in the show notes. So you have gone to maybe more weddings than most, Sandra. And so at an average wedding, how many guests do you think dance and how many guests do you think hang back a bit?
I think it really depends. I did a wedding last Sunday and I'm not even joking. They were dancing straight away. It was broad daylight and they were on the dance floor, and I've never witnessed it that early before, but they were there for the dancing, which is brilliant. I think when you plan your wedding in a way that really represents you, then you always have way more likelihood to people to sort of buy into what it is that you want them to do, because it's what they expect from you, if that makes sense. This was even the bride was on the dance floor long before the first dance, and the groom was there, and it was all happening because they had planned a wedding that really represented them, and that's exactly what they had wanted. I personally miss the conga lines. Can we just say that? Because nothing got people on the dance floor like a good conga line. It makes people relax. I miss them. I miss a good like Macarena and the chicken dance as well. Like, can we bring these ones back? Because even if there's people that are really hesitant, the ones where you're not supposed to look good at anyways dancing, they are always up there. Your DJ is another very, very important factor at your wedding. A very good DJ is always able to sort of overcome the dance floor being half empty to it definitely being more full. But I love a good bit of dancing. But yeah, definitely a conga line for me should come back.
I'm with you on the conga. You lost me at the chicken dance.
I went too far with that one.
Way too far. So it's going to depend on your mix of people. It's going to depend on your couple. But I know when your staff are working at a wedding, you know, you're seeing all types of guests. You're seeing different behaviours and different levels of wanting to participate. Can you share a little bit about what you see maybe the more shy or reserved people at weddings doing?
Mostly you're shy and reserved people who are not necessarily feeling comfortable within themselves. And that's really what it is. And our photos are so beautiful, and they're not necessarily used to getting that result from a photo, if that makes sense, because we guide them and we help them and we do all that sort of stuff. That they are the people that are in our photo booth non-stop. And that's a beautiful thing. That's a really good thing because it's building up their confidence. They are having the time of their life at your wedding, and that's what they're remembering is the time of their life that they have at their wedding, because that picture's gone straight to the fridge, so they ain't forgetting it anytime soon. But also, I'm a little bit of a stalker in a good way. I will make sure that everyone goes through our photo grid, because if you don't come to me, I'm going to go to you. So you can either use the beautiful lighting or I will come to you and make sure that we get a photo. So it's so inclusive and we make it that way.
And I think that right there is the key. No one misses out because they're feeling unsure. It's total participation by everyone. And I think when everyone in a wedding is pulling in the same direction, you know, towards being together, interacting together, communicating, participating, that's when it goes off.
Absolutely. It's just magic. I always think weddings are magic anyways, because just a room full of love. But when everybody is sort of like in sync and they're all just having the best time and all the memories are just captured, then it's very special.
Is it true? Like, I've seen you with a guest list, Sandra?
Oh, yes.
Literally going around so you don't miss anyone.
Yes, we have. We've done that. And we do it for a few different reasons to make sure we don't miss one. But people have used us in the past for their guest book, because I'm not a big fan of the stick and put in a book, because I think then you're quite limited to what you do with it. Whereas we've done it like in lots and lots of different ways, and people sign the bottom. We'll do a blank copy of the photos and people sign the bottom and they're all gorgeous and stuff. And some of the creative things that have come out of it. So the wedding that you and I did together with Lauren, she had this beautiful frame, which was an old window, like a barn window that she still has up in her house, and she rotates the photos through it. And I just think that that's so beautiful, because you're forever interacting with that and swapping it around. Or if you don't want to do it, you can create them in gorgeous pegboards somewhere in an office. If you give us a list of your guests, we will make sure every one of them sign it. That's the thing with the guest books, is there's no sort of control over them. So you just have to hope that people did them. Even at my wedding, I did the Jenga blocks, like help us build memories. was so disappointed when like half the people don't sign them.
Yeah.
But so I think that's why I'm so passionate. If you want me to get your guests, I will get your
Yeah,
guests.
I will get them and I will not let them
I will
go.
get them.
I mean,
Even if I have to go to their house the next day.
yeah.
Get
Sandra's, hello.
Forgot something yesterday.
Anything else you wanted to add, Sandra?
I've worked the most expensive weddings and I've worked the budget weddings. And I can tell you sometimes the budget ones are way more fun than the more expensive ones. Pumping more money into it does not make your wedding more fun if they've got no soul. So as long as it represents you, that is it.
That's really, really cool. And so where can people find you, Sandra?
Everywhere. So they can find us at Hashtag Insta Prints on Instagram. You can find us on hashtag instaprints.com.au. You can find us hashtag Insta Prints on Facebook, or you can email us at hello@instaprints.com.au.
Thank you so much, mate.
Take care. Thanks for having me, Cam.
What else you got on today?
I think I'm going to go have a nap.
Hello again. And as promised, these are your 17 fun ways to help your introverted guests to love your wedding just as much as those that are going sick on the dance floor. So what we're trying to achieve here is maximum uptake. We're ensuring a low bar to participation. The greater number of guests who are taking action and doing something, mixing with others and interacting, the more likely it is that they will feel more welcome, more comfortable, and have more fun at your wedding. So there are 3 different categories that I like to refer to. And the first category is vendor-guided fun. So hashtag Instaprints would be one of them, for example, because Sandra or one of her team are there manning the photo booth. They're there encouraging your guests. They're making sure that no one gets left behind. So it's vendor-guided. So yeah, photo booth. Number 1, a really great DJ who can effectively read the room is going to make sure that there is a good blend of music, tempos, that it's not start-stop, that it feels great for everyone there, as many people as possible, of course. Also, things like setting up like a mini casino. Like it doesn't have to be big and extravagant. It could just be one game on a gaming table for fun. You know, that could be really awesome too. Having a professional MC with, you know, not only stories and the ability to bring people in and make mum and dad and grandpa and grandma feel included, but with games like scavenger hunt or a treasure hunt or things like that to really make everyone feel like they're all in this together. Karaoke, absolute killer. Absolute killer. There is always someone who thinks that they can sing and they can't. And there are the people who like to act as the chorus or, you know, backup singers. And there's the people who like to laugh. Everyone plays a role. It's brilliant. Also, things like piñatas. So you can get fabulous wedding piñatas. And it's, you know, not exactly a physical thing. You've just got a stick. You're tapping on a little cardboard box to generally get candy out or lollies. Very low bar to participation. The second category is having activities or things to do that encourages your guests to mix with others, because that's one of the hardest things, of course, is going into a wedding, not knowing too many people, and then not feeling confident enough to start up that first slightly awkward conversation. So mixing with others in that category includes things like lawn games are brilliant. The competitive spirit comes out in something like giant Jenga, some croquet, bocce, badminton, cornhole, giant noughts and crosses, giant chess, all of those sorts of things. The other interesting way that you can get your guests mixing with each other is by simply having a different type of catering. So if you've got a situation where many people are standing up and mixing, then that can be awesome for conversation and for getting people to interact. Cocktail style weddings are brilliant for that purpose, and also food truck style weddings where your guests are going up to a food truck, they're ordering, they're having a step back, they're waiting for their food. You know, there's this opportunity to interact with others. Also, having a guest book of some description to have your guests' names recorded, and sometimes, like as in the audio guest book, you could have a message, like a spoken word message or sung. I don't want to restrict people here. So guest books, like physical books that you write in with a pen, there's things like, use something that means something to you. So surfboard, globe, guitar, like you name it. You can really arrange to sign anything. So make sure you get something that's fun, that's quirky, because guess what? It's a conversation starter. And again, it's going to make it more likely that your guests are going to actually sign it for you, which is brilliant. And the other way with mixing with others is to use something like an audio guest book. So the fabulous old style rotary phones that, have those little curly cords that look like little piggy tails. And yeah, you can pick it up. You listen to the prompts, you record an audio message. Absolutely brilliant and hilarious. The third category of fun ideas is called the power of choice. When we have decisions that we can make as humans, we feel like we're doing something. And it's a very basic need, but giving your guests choices throughout your wedding lets them feel like they're personalizing their experience, because they are. So things as simple as a do-it-yourself, a DIY drink bar. So you could have a Pimp Your Prosecco, little bar, few little sprigs of herbs, a little bit of fairy floss or cotton candy, depending on where you're from, little colouring, little flavouring, whatever it might be. It might be even just a raspberry to drop in the top, but you get to personalise your drink. There's some who like a gin bar, or you can do an MYO cocktails bar, mix your own. You could have some pre-mix there. You could have someone supervising it. It's just fun, and you get more of what you want and not as much of what you're told you want, which, yeah, it feels good. It feels good. Other things where you're giving your guests the power of choice include food stations. So ice cream with all the toppings. You could have syrups, you could have nuts, if you have no nut allergies, of course. Taco station, waffle bar, fondue, bring back the 70s, and chocolate fountain, all delicious. But what you're trying to do is get them making decisions, however micro, about how they'd best like their time at your wedding to go, flavouring their experience, so to speak. So that is my list of 17 fun ways to help your introverted guests to love your wedding. And if you've got any more ideas, I'd love to hear about that too. Please let me know on Instagram. You can DM me anytime at Unbridely. Chat with you soon. Bye. That about wraps it up for this episode of the Unbridely podcast. For the links and resources we mentioned, please head to the show notes. And if you love the show, please review and subscribe on the podcast platform you're on now so you don't miss out on a single episode. Thanks so much for listening, and remember, weddings are a team sport. Catch you soon.